Avon afternoon. Who remembers Luisa Maiello? Every Saturday afternoon, puntualmente at 3 o'clock, she and her mother knocked at our door. 16 years old, black braids tied with ribbons, a pink puffy skirt exposing her legs, and shaved and straight like sticks of a lollipop, with matching socks and black polished shoes, she dressed like the doll she held tight to her chest. A bambina in the shape of a woman, with large breasts and il culo rotondo, the shadow of a mustache trailing on her upper lip, a face like a cheese grater, her whole body screaming to the world that despite herself, she was no longer a child. I waited for their knock on the door like a drug, a small weekly dose of company in my lonely afternoons. By 3 o'clock, I had the dishes washed, the countertop and the table scrubbed, to make sure I could flip through the Avon catalogs in peace without my mother pestering me over my shoulder for house chores. Luisa's mother, a widow like mine, worked as a rappresentante of Avon beauty products, going porta a porta to make a living. But she didn't use any, or if she did, they were wasted on her. She claimed she preferred un look naturale, no makeup, no lipstick, not even nail polish on her fingernails, niente di niente. She boasted about her face creams, shower gels, and soaps, and an expensive French talc she sprinkled on her skin day and night. But when I opened the door, Signora Maiello and Luisa brought into my house the smell of mold and camphor of the damp basement they lived in at the border of town, near Naples Cemetery. As if, under their hopeless talc, their skin had soaked up the scent of all the flowers withering behind the cemetery's walls. The tallest woman in the neighborhood, Luisa's mother, looked like a man dressed as a woman, un mascolone, with short, greasy hair the color of ash, men's pants above her waist, the corners of her mouth soft and hanging like a Neapolitan mastiff. She hardly smiled, and when she did, I peered into her mouth to look at her teeth, some fallen out, the rest black and small, and I felt I uncovered the secret she kept behind her stern lips. The Maddaloni girls next door, whose mother received the Avon family at 2:30 p.m., right before us, said that it wasn't true that Signora Maiello's husband had died, that he had left her and her daughter because they were not femmine vere, that they were lesbiche. The Maddaloni girls crossed themselves when they said the word lesbica, because by saying it, your mind wanders about the dirty things that the lesbians do, and you are already committing a sin. People said the same thing of my father, that he didn't die, that he left my mother and me, and I never knew the reasons why. For that, I had sympathy for Luisa, even if the Maddaloni girl said that she was sviluppata in her body, but not in her head. I let them talk and wondered instead, how is it possible? How is it possible that Luisa had such bad skin, that she didn't cover her pockmarks with makeup and foundation? Plus, she had eyebrows like toothbrushes and didn't wax her mustaches, with all those products and samplers she could get for free. You know, as if she were a butcher's daughter being vegetariana and throwing free meat to the dogs. I wish my mother became una rappresentante Avon so that I could have all the beauty products in the world. I would put a nice dress on and go with my mother to people's homes, drag her out of bed and her morning clothes. I flipped through the catalogs, looked at lipsticks, mascaras, eyeshadows, and eyeliners, but I knew that once I would be sviluppata too, I would not be the kind of girl who wears makeup, like the other teenage girls in the building. I would not put lipstick on or even nail polish on my chewed fingernails, nor could I ever wear heels. That was what the girls did, the ones living on my floor, the ones that when they stained their underwear for the first time were celebrated in the whole building, and Signora Maddaloni told them that now they could finally marry. I did not want to marry, and I knew I had that in common with Luisa. She wasn't like any of these girls. She wasn't like me either. I was 4 years younger, I had little buds on my chest, and I already stopped playing with dolls. When she came for her Avon visits, we didn't speak much, and she would not let go of her doll. This is why the Maddaloni girls, 17 and 19, whose breasts put together were smaller than Luisa's, called her una regredita. I didn't know the word. I would look at her doll, at her confetti dress with matching socks, her hairy legs and bruised kneecaps, and understood what it meant. Once, they told me that Louisa took ice-cold bidet to stop her period, to stop the bloody truth that she was indeed sviluppata, a girl made for a husband. I instead was looking forward to my period, even if I didn't want to marry. I wanted the little buds on my chest to blossom. I wanted to grow out of my skinny body, the way Louisa and all the girls around me had, bursting with hormones and curves. How do you do it? I asked Louisa the next time she came to my house. I imagined her sitting astride a bidet and running freezing cold water between her legs, but I wasn't sure about the rest. If the blood really stopped and didn't come out of her, where did it go? Lots of ice, she explained. Not ice cubes, but big blocks of ice, capito? Not the ones you put in your Coca-Cola. She said she filled a large pot with water and put it in the freezer. Once the water turned into ice, she broke the ice with a hammer and placed a slab over her tummy a few days before her period was supposed to come. Then she filled the bidet with icy water and sat there for hours. Does it work? I asked. I haven't had my periods in 4 months, she replied, satisfied. I didn't know what would happen to her body, and I was left with the same judgment the girls on my floor had pronounced. Louisa was pazza. The blood stagnated in her body and went all to her head. Maybe that's why she also had bad skin. Suddenly, the Saturday visits stopped, and I didn't see the Maiellos again. Not in my house, not at the neighbors, not around the neighborhood. I asked about them for months, afraid Louisa might have died or gone crazy, and that all the blood she stopped from flowing out of her body had clotted in her brain. Eventually, having no news, me and the Maddaloni girls forgot about the Maiello family and the Avon beauty products. Years later, there was a mother and daughter selling miraculous, rejuvenating facial creams on TV. They became so popular, they bought their own TV channel. Everyone knew them in Italy. Their skin did not look good, just very suntanned, but they made millions with their TV sales. After a couple of years of success, they fell from the throne of fame and went to jail for fraud. Then I wondered if Louisa Maiello and her mother had gone to jail for selling Avon products that ruin your skin. That would explain why they had disappeared without a trace, no? But can you believe it? Louisa and her mama left Naples and bought a house in LA. Louisa has become a TV star, hosting a show about unmarried women and their love life. Tell It to Lou on KTLA. She told me herself the other day on her visit to Naples for a few days. I did not recognize her at all when she stopped me in the street. Heavy makeup on, dark lipstick, plucked eyebrows, long red nails, a dragon tattoo on her shoulder. She walked on high heels, con stile, unfazed by the whistles and horns of the men she would pass, as if Naples streets were a catwalk she could now crush under her feet. Madonna mia, she had grown up, married to herself and her stunning womanly body. She bought me pizza and beer that smelled good like from another land.